we're recording.
Boom. Yeah, I like your red jacket.
Okay. Oh, you write her jacket is her free red jacket. Let's be clear.
That's the way to get one.
That's the way to get one. That's exactly right. All right, ladies. Well, we're excited for our final, we're entering a new season starting in August of our tips and tools with our amazing leaders that will be joining us officially, that they have been already joining us. And we have some great new content coming your way to continue our virtual tips and tools. And we promise you a fun class tonight. We're glad that you're on, because we pray that tonight's class would really equip you in putting your best face forward, not just in Mary Kay, but through all your new virtual normals, right? So I actually had the privilege of watching a virtual training for a company that had furloughed employees, and they're teaching them how to go live. And there's so much unawareness of what things look right on camera and things that make us put our best selves forward so that we can do what we do, especially that we are in the beauty industry. So we're gonna have a few topics tonight, but we're gonna kick it off with Lisa, who's gonna be sharing with you some new normals for us in the Mary Kay world as we are virtual. Take it away, Lisa.
I am so excited to get to share a little bit of information with you guys on Mary Kay Image. Okay, so this is something that was near and dear to Mary Kay's heart. So I'm gonna read you a few things that came out of her book. If you guys got the $100 starter kit, you have Mary Ash's autobiography. And I wanna just read you a few things that why image was so important to our founder's framework of how she built the business, okay? So the first thing is that you only have 2 minutes to make a first impression. You only have 2 minutes to make a first impression. We all, myself included, have been guilty of making an assumption based on what you see, hear, or observe, right, from somebody within the first 2 minutes. Okay, that is obviously not necessarily the whole story, but she wanted to be able to make sure that we, as Mary Kay beauty consultants, were appropriately perceived, like we have the opportunity to make an impact in that first 2 minutes. So what are we going to choose to be our impact? Okay, so in one of her chapters, she said she is so proud of all the beautiful, capable women who have chosen to make their dream come true. Okay, and as somebody once said, we are a company that's known for the people we keep. We're a company that's known for the people we keep, and we keep the very best. Mary Kay women are the most loyal, dedicated women in the world. They define determination and purpose. They believe that if they work hard enough and they give enough of themselves, they will be successful personally and professionally. Okay, so this is the philosophy of our founder on what she sees as her business, what the company she builds. Like, these are the women she's cultivating to put forth. This is going to be our first impression, right? This is going to be our first impression. So Mary Kay had very specific ideas of what that first impression could entail, okay? And one of the things that actually guided the traditional Mary Kay image is she was she just was disheartened by the fact that she got told many times, oh, Mary Kay, you're thinking like a woman. Mary Kay, you're thinking like a woman. Okay, so she was going to take that, embrace it, and create a powerful response to that. Okay, so she actually wanted to raise awareness of a woman's innate abilities, okay, because she had been denied promotion for thinking like a woman. Okay, so in order to kind of like say, you know what, screw you, screw all these misconceptions about what a woman's limited to, We are going to be strong, powerful, professional women. Okay, and with that kind of came this Mary Kay image. Okay, so traditionally, right, Mary Kay was based on face-to-face appointments. And so obviously you're seeing everybody head, top of their head to the tips of their toes. We're grateful that we're in this virtual business right now, and we just basically have to have a Mary Kay image from the waist up. That's what's on camera, right? So we have a lot more freedom in that regard, all right? So the traditional Mary Kay image is as a beauty consultant, you're gonna wear either your beauty coat or black and white suit or skirt attire. Now, most people are like, do I really wanna wear a skirt? But the reality of when you think back of what Mary Kay was told was a negative, she's gonna harness that and turn it into a positive, right? That we are strong, powerful women. We don't need to hide our femininity. Women have an innate ability to relate to other people. And we're gonna kind of wear that suit as our presence. So I have just a picture to share with you. Okay, so this is what traditional, if we go to a seminar event, a big training event, this is what we call traditional Mary Kay attire. Okay, black and white, power, like I always think of like it's a power suit, right? Cute heels, professional shoes. Obviously, we don't have to wear heels, woo, 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 right? Our toes aren't getting all scrunched up. We're not standing on our feet right now, okay? Or the traditional Mary Kay beauty coat. Now, you may not have either one of those things right now. That does not mean you are not a hot Mary Kay beauty consultant. You can be wearing a super beautiful powerhouse blouse, cardigan. You want to just imagine that image of what Mary Kay cultivated when she thought of, this is who we are. This is who we are. We are in the beauty industry, so image is important, right? We're in the, I mean, just imagine, I'm going to tell you, I do this, and not to say it's right or wrong, but I'm going to be honest with you. If I go to a doctor to give me advice on my health, I do not want my doctor to be 600 pounds overweight. If I go to a dentist, I don't want them to have bad teeth. Do you guys see? Like, that's the truth. And I'm sure we all do that, right? We all do that. So we are projecting an image, right? That skincare is self-care. So we need to be taking care of our skin, right? If I'm gonna teach you tips and tricks on beauty products, I'm not saying I have to have, like, look, my makeup is not like, I don't have 8 eyeshadows on, but I am like, it looks like I put some effort into my appearance, okay? So obviously at each level of the Mary Kay career path, there is specific Mary Kay attire, and this was to create a visual opportunity for you to see where you wanted to go next, okay? So if you look at the Mary Kay Museum's website, okay, they actually talk about in 1965 is when Mary Kay designed the first independent sales director suit specifically for them. So think about that. In 1965, this woman had this vision, not only to look sharp, but we should look united. We should look united so that when you come across a woman, you're like, that's a Mary Kay consultant. You knew she had her stuff together, okay? From the very beginning, Mary Kay Ash believed if you were to be successful in business, you had to look the part, especially in a cosmetics business, okay? I mean, that absolutely makes sense. Mary Kay obviously always was all about, if you're gonna talk the talk, walk the walk. And this is how we get to walk the walk, okay? So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but one of our sales directors may be in a little bit different type of attire. Okay, can we switch to gallery view so they can see everything? Okay, so if you guys are looking at all the Zoom squares, can you pick out the Mary Kay sales director who maybe could have put a little bit of extra attention in her appearance?
Oh, hi, everyone. Sorry, let me finish chewing. They're just so yummy.
So I love the fact that I don't really know if Janet's wearing clothes. I mean, do you guys want to be perceived like that? Is she wearing clothes or is it just a bra? I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. How is she coming on camera? I love that. I love that. So just imagine if you blend in with everybody else you're on
Just don't stand up.
right? If you blend in with everybody else that's on the Zoom, when they log on, do they immediately know who the beauty consultant is? They should immediately know, like, hey, this woman's got it together. Okay, so obviously when it comes to red jackets, I'll show you, and I love that Brianna's got her super, let's just spotlight Brianna because she's got the super hot red jacket, Mary Kay career apparel going on right here. Love that. It's like the super cute houndstooth or whatever that's called print. Do you feel powerful in your red jacket, Brianna?
Yeah, I was just telling Christine, every time I put it on, I feel like I'm getting a hug because it's just so
I love that. I love it. And it gives you confidence, right? Awesome. So when you okay, obviously you guys all know that I'm a cop, right? Yes, by this point you probably know that I'm a cop. So just imagine if all of us cops out there just wore whatever we wanted willy-nilly. Would you know the cops? Maybe not. Okay, but we wear a uniform because we want to be highly recognizable and we want to project this image of professionalism and safety and security. Not only that, but it takes me effort to get into that uniform, guys. It takes me effort. So since it's taking me effort, there's thought behind it. There's intention behind it. I'm putting on this for a reason, you know? And one of the things Mary Kay always wanted us to do is like, you walk into your beauty experience, like, you know, what's home is home. You're going to give an experience. This is your opportunity. Put on your beauty coat, you shed everything else, and this is who you are. So we're excited because we're going to start promoting this in our Zooms so that we can recognize everybody visually, not only on your career level, right? Because you deserve that honor every day that you've worked to achieve that career level, but to just recognize each other, that we can look and be like, wow, we are strong, powerful business women. And not to say life doesn't happen to us. And I know Mari's going to talk a little bit about, you know, there's some grace in this virtual world, which is great, right? Right now we're from the waist up. Well, that was my little bit about the Mary Kay attire. So excited to see you guys, and I'm going to pass it over to Mari.
Yay. Okay. That was awesome. And I love that you talk about, Lisa, I love that you said that, you know, it's about projecting that image of professionalism. And of course, you know, one of the things that I always think to myself when I think of Mary Kay attire is that we're also honoring our founder, right? Mary Kay Ash. And I love that because to me, you know, I know that she created this company for women, to empower women, and that her greatest desire was for us to embrace all that we are and all who we are, and to become our best selves. And so I will say that whenever I wear my sales director suit, I sit up a little straighter. I act different. And I think that that's true, you know, in any type of profession. When you are in your uniform, you just always just kind of project that image, right? So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Zoom etiquette. Christine and I are going to kind of tag team on this, but we want to talk specifically to, you know, your Zoom image, right? Your image on screen, and just some things that you may not be aware of. And instead of telling you what not to do, I want to really tell you about what you should be doing, what we can be doing to really project the best foot forward, and to put ourselves in the best light. I was actually just talking to somebody today, I won't say who, a consultant, you know, who was saying, you know, I always feel the need to look really good on camera. And I think that's because for the most part, this is our socialization. And so we want to project that best image always. And so you know, really just taking a few minutes to put your best face on is really a small drop in the bucket in a bigger scheme of things. And so, you know, thinking about placement of your camera, thinking about, you know, lighting. You know, I shared recently a ring light that I have that was $16. Honestly, that really changes the appearance of, you know, of me. And so, like, what if I was on camera like this and I was trying to teach you a makeup technique? You might not be able to see my face, but just having that lighting really makes that difference, right? And so, are you facing the light? Are you, you know, are you at the right angle? Can we see up your nose? You know, I'm not sure I really want to see what you've got going on up your nose. You know, I don't even want to see what my son has going up his nose. And so, you know, really just knowing, being cautious of the angles that you present yourself. We've all heard about that horrible, you know, these horrifying stories of like coworkers who didn't realize their camera was on and came on screen naked or in the bathroom or in weird situations. And so just being really aware of, I'm a professional, Christine's laughing because I know of 3 stories like this, of a boss, you know, in front of their employees. And so just being aware, you know, we're on this like kind of new world and new environment, but you know, how do you look from the waist up? You know, is your hair combed? Did you brush your teeth today? You know, because that makes a difference, right? You don't want to smile and you're probably not smiling as big if your teeth aren't brushed. And so really just being cognizant of have you taken care of yourself and how are you being presented on camera? You know, what does the environment look like that you're in? Are you in a professional setting? Are you in an office, or are you just kind of, you know, slouching on your couch next to your husband who's caressing your shoulder? You know, things like that, right? You know, like that that might not come off as professional to the people who you're selling yourself to. And I remember being a new consultant, and as a new consultant or even as a seasoned consultant, you know, one of the most difficult things is helping the people who love you and support you the most. You want them to take you seriously. And in order for them to take you seriously, you have to take yourself seriously. You first have to be sold on the fact that you are a Mary Kay beauty consultant. And that means taking pride in your appearance. And so they'll see the difference. Because when you tell them, oh, I started my Mary Kay business, and you look a little sharper and your skin looks a little more, you know, a little clearer, and your makeup looks more polished, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I can tell. And that will make a difference also in your confidence. And so much of what we're talking to you about is really about confidence. You know, I'll also talk about limiting distractions. How many of you are, just show your hands, if you're one of those people who gets distracted by the first sparkly thing that's shown in front of you? That's me. Like, my husband can't even walk into the room because I will forget everything I was thinking. Or, you know, he's walked behind my Zoom sometimes and I'm like, why'd you do that? I forgot everything I was going to say. You know, and sometimes I can't even wear jewelry because if I look at myself on screen, like I get caught by, like, my attention gets caught off by like what I saw. Okay. That's like how much of a distraction, like I get very easily distracted. And we all have those situations, right, where we can get easily distracted. But I tend to lock the door. I live in a multi-generational home. And so my 90-year-old grandmother will sometimes walk in and offer me Cuban coffee on screen, you know? And so just locking the door and saying, I have a little sign that says meeting in progress, you know, and now they know. And, you know, now, of course, I have a 2-year-old toddler who doesn't know how to read, and he doesn't know what a meeting in progress means. And so sometimes, does he barge into my Zooms? Absolutely. You know, but for the most part, I know for me, I try to keep distractions away, not because those people aren't important, but because for me, I want to give you my best. And I want to be focused on the women that I'm in front of that moment. And since I can't physically be with you, I want you to know that my full attention is on you. And I can't do that if, you know, if I'm full of distractions. And so for the most part, you know, flipping over your phone, put it on silent, you know, just kind of, maybe you have a little sign that says meeting in progress. It doesn't mean that nobody's going to interrupt, right? But at least it helps with some of those other things that might become distractions. And
Monica, if I had, I'm sorry, like when not, even when you're not just the main speaker, but even when you are a participant in the group Zoom, because you might be a distraction for somebody else. I think of my son and my daughter when they entered this Zoom world and they were doing virtual school, and I saw other kids in the gallery view doing this.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, I can't even focus. So if anybody has noticed anybody being a distraction right now in our group, have you noticed Janet? Look at her. She's just,
I know.
there she is. And Janet, Janet has been our actress today. She's going to earn an Oscar for this. But if you noticed, anybody notice her on the phone? Anybody notice her chewing food?
I could hardly focus on Lisa, actually, because, and I knew that she was going to be doing this, but it was a visible distraction, right? On camera and on screen. So yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, even if you're not the main speaker, just because of that, you still want to be cognizant of the distraction you are causing for other people by not being it totally. You may think you're focused, but chewing, having a lollipop, eating dinner on your phone, distraction. Continue, Madi, go ahead.
And we've all been guilty of that, you know, where you're like, I haven't eaten dinner, I need to get a quick bite in. And so one of the things that I tell, you know, consultants, and I tell anybody really, is the best feature, your best friend, is the stop video button. Nobody needs to see what's going on in the background if it's not worthy of being seen on camera. And that's okay. And also knowing when it's appropriate to mute yourself. I will tell you, my 2-year-old is definitely going through the terrible twos, and when he has a tantrum, I just press for a minute, you know, just because nobody else needs to hear in the background from 2 doors down, you know, what's going on. And so I say that because it, you know, I love that Christine said that, because it, you know, it can be a distraction to other people too. So there are so many things that you can do to be really truly present and in the moment, and knowing when it's time, you know, to maybe turn off the camera for a minute, or when it's time to mute yourself, is a big part of that as well. So, you know, really learning to, you know, your image in Mary Kay, I just got distracted now. Your image in Mary Kay is not just about your physical appearance, but it's also about your presence, right? That presence that you project. So I know Christine has some really great, like, tangible things that she's going to be sharing with you, and she shared them with me, and I love them. So let's take it away, Christine.
Janet is like awesome right now. I'm like, I have ADD. I'm like loving to see her with her love on screen. Janet, if you were at my party, I couldn't focus. I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Wait, so a couple of things that I've learned, not just like from experience, but watching trainers talk about this topic that they've been speaking about this. Again, I want to give you a visual. I want to give you a visual what we mean about looking up your nose. This is where my laptop would be. So this is the normal setting of my computer and my desk. I want you to know that I was unaware of this. My husband is the one that right before we went Zoom world, even like as a trainer on a conference call, and I would do Facebook Lives, he taught me that this is not an angle that is flattering, or I'm looking down upon you. Without even knowing it, you're looking down on somebody versus to being unequal. We are equals. So I will show you what I do. I do not have a fancy setup. He created this. I used to use boxes, like Mary Kay boxes, or Amazon boxes that would come in. So I use temporarily, this is my current stand, whatever I find tomorrow, but it was a good height. It's my water stand. Like I put a carafe on here for events. There's no events happening, whatever. You probably have something the right height that you need to measure, or you stack boxes. I've stacked 2-3 boxes in people's homes when if I'm not home, but I literally just prop myself so that I'm looking at you. And there's actual proof that looking, and I can be guilty of this because I have my notes, or I'm looking over there, or I'm looking at you guys, like, but proven that when you're sharing, when you're the speaker, to try to look at the camera, because it's creating eye contact with people. I know we can have our notes, and I try to put my notes if I'm training something like right there so I can look at you, but it's true that there's truth, that it brings trust, and that I'm looking to your eyes, and I'm making a connection with you because you're looking at me eye to eye. It can be a little challenging where you're like, we have content to share, but I want, you know, it does create trust. Also, it was trade, like I now have to blot because I've been out and about all day and I put powder, but they even say that looking really oily can look like sweat, and sweat can make you look like you are anxious or worried or it's not telling the truth. This is actually from a real class that I was part of. So maybe Lisa, as having the cop role, she knows when people get sweaty, they get nervous, like, you know. So we're not trying to look like we're guilty of anything right now. In Mary Kay, we can blot easily. My blotters are not on me, forgive me. But I will tell you that, you know, eye setup is important. Stack boxes, you guys, find boxes, stack boxes. You have things in your house you can just stack, but that eye level creates trustworthy contact. You know, you're like talking to you versus talking down at you. Right? That's one thing. The other thing I'll tell you is about smiling. It was interesting, you know, we did an event, and actually I was one of the speakers at this event, and the guy was the one sharing these details, and I was, out of the 4 participants, we were on live together, I was the only one smiling, and he mentioned it. You know, how important it is to be smiling, even if you are just an observer. That you're on, if you're gonna be on screen, especially, if you're gonna be on screen, you can't be like, you have to be smiling, because people like that will change the whole image of everything you're doing, right? So smiling throughout, like as Mari and Lisa were talking, and Janet would make me laugh too. I was trying not to laugh, but you know, I would laugh, but just trying to smile, you know, because that really, especially if you're on a Zoom and you're with maybe your team and doing a party, you know, I know to think about smiling for an hour, like, but just look joyful, look excited, look like you're engaged, you know, don't look like you're just like Janet was on her phone. We prompted her. This is all an act, but we and by your mind, Jen is the most attentive, like the best listener. So I love that she's like really doing this such a good job. I love it. Also, we talk about even your patterns. They actually, I don't know. I beg to differ, because the guy that said this said, do not try to avoid black. He was wearing black. I'm like, why would you teach to not wear black, but you're wearing black? So I really didn't understand. But he said, depending on your background, avoiding black or white. I don't know if I really, maybe it might wash you out in certain ways in either direction. Possible. I haven't tried it, but I can let you know. But he said avoiding black or white, or shirts have a lot of little patterns. Like some of you have like uniform things that's different, but I give a lot of little patterns, like little squares, a lot of little things. It can just be a distraction in your attire. Just food for thought to think about when you're presenting yourself. I actually feel like you don't want your top to be distracting, but you want your blouse to look nice, because let's be honest, if we all look, anybody want to share their pajama pants right now? I'm wearing my cute little Ralph Lauren pajama pants. I like to be cozy in my cute little colors, but you know, nobody needs to see that. That's all cool. I love that, but we just want to be comfy too. I'm wearing my super comfy loafers, no heels. But you know, but again, your top, let it speak for you. You know, don't let your earrings be a distraction. Don't let your jewelry be a distraction, but making sure you look neat. Think of the word neat. Do I feel neat right now? There's Queen Janet. There she is. Distraction. I actually didn't even know you own those. I'm very impressed right now. I love it. The Queen Janet. I love it. And for this one, I'm a little guilty of this, because I feel like it made me aware you don't want your background to be a distraction also. I caught myself like, I love like my desk. This is where my camera is. This is where my desk is. Like I don't choose my background, but you might be looking right now thinking, what book does she have back there? Let me see, like, what is she reading right now? What product is in there? So I'm trying to have a background that has no distraction. Have you ever wondered what's my background? You're like, what is that thing? Maybe now I'm aware of it, but you want a background that doesn't distract. He even talked about lighting. If you are in the middle of the day, like you actually have light, like I have a window right here. And he mentioned that having natural light is good, especially when it's in front of you. But if it's at a side angle coming one way, if there's a shadow, if you're the speaker, you want to avoid shadows on your face. You guys, as Mari mentioned, these little lights, like here's me without lighting. It just doesn't look as illuminated, as bright. This is a little Amazon Lumi light, like, ooh, there it is. But something as simple as that can make all the difference in the world, to look bright, awakened, and all that. Now, the other thing was distractions, colors, lighting, and there was something else I was gonna mention about Zoom and going live and all that.
Christine, I was going to add really quick also, like, just from a basic perspective, like we're actually on the other coast of Florida right now visiting my mother-in-law, and I forgot to bring a bright lipstick. But usually, like on camera, I because of my coloring, I tend to look really washed out if I don't have a bright lipstick. And so even just something as simple as having a bold or bright lipstick on, can make the difference. If your hair is a little bit not super clean, putting on a headband. It's okay, you know, like just simple things. I love that you said neat and polished, you know,
Mhm.
keeping those things in mind.
And you know, Marty and I talked about this before. Even though like we do a lot of events where we go on without makeup because we're gonna do our skincare class, we still will put like a light layer of something so that we look presentable. Because I may be washing my face in 2 minutes, but I want to come on the screen looking like a beauty consultant. And again, I love what Lisa talked about. Like we have our uniform for these events. We're gonna be starting to excited to share and see you guys in your career paths and watching you guys move up. But even if you have like I do Wednesday night happy skin hours, you know, you don't have to wear your red jacket at that event, but hey, look nice, have a nice top, you know, don't be like lounging around, like hanging out, like talking over there, like, you know, the whole goal, I'm not just saying this as anybody, but the whole goal is that we project, like Lisa said, the Mary Kay image. And I love this is good because I feel like this is where our whole new normal for your kids, work, is this world that we can be aware of it, you know. But I think I would say you have think of anything, lighting and angle is so much of it, because it really can impact your best face forward, how you look. And of course makeup, we all, you know, we've been teaching looks to go live and, you know, looking your best. But I would say even if you are not the one teaching, still think I am representing Mary Kay. I am Mary Kay. With my consultant, my customer see me as Mary Kay through that. So I love that. So, okay, girls, I know it's time for some questions, and maybe about anything, maybe about our setup. Maybe if anybody wants to show their setup, I know you can kind of see how they have their things, or any questions for us. Madi, you want to leave the questions, Q&As, or Lisa?
Yes.
I have like 2 quick comments. One, when it comes to backgrounds, I know like those virtual backgrounds are cute, but like when you're not at the right depth, your like arm goes missing. Have you guys ever seen that on Zooms? Like your arm goes missing, or half of your, like the top of your head is off. So that's a distraction, like a distracting thing as well. You know, like that can be something that totally gets people. And one more thing that Mary Kay said is that you may be the first or the only Mary Kay beauty consultant somebody ever comes across. And so how do you want that impression to resonate with them? Because it will impact how they see the next beauty consultants as well.
Yes.
This is a good
And I
point.
love that you said something about like even the picture that you have without your video, like just having that be something that looks like you know, because, and the smiling picture, you know, something that's bright, like, because even I've been confused so many times. I love that Mercy's picture actually always confuses me. Half the time I think she's live. I'm not joking. And so, you know, even if you're not live, people might just be confused enough and think that you are. All right, so let's take some great questions. I love this. Odili's put here that this weekend she had a happy skin hour and only had a little CC cream and lip gloss rather than full makeup. But that's, you know, even a fresh face. I love that Christine said that. Even when you're going to have a fresh face, you know, making sure that you don't have like last night's mascara on the bottom of your eyes, and just making sure your face is truly fresh, you know? So love that. So what questions might we have? Who has a question? Or a comment, something that you
I have a question.
Okay.
Anisha said something about your attire from the top up and not the waist down. Your top, makeup. I wear lipstick sometimes, but not all the time. Is that a requirement for Mary Kay while I'm on Zoom, or because I don't wear a lot of makeup all the time?
I want to thank you for even mentioning, like, is that a requirement? We don't want to make anybody feel like anything's a requirement. You get the opportunity to put your best face forward. Nothing here is like, you cannot be on if you're not in uniform. We will not kick you off the Zoom unless you're doing things that Janet's doing. I might just mute your vision. I might mute your screen if you're doing what Janet's doing. But really, I want you to know there's no, you know, requirement. You may have come from a long day at work. Like, we're just happy that you're here. You know, we want to give you just etiquette. Like, what is the norm? How we want to show up, putting our best face forward. Like, what's our goal? That people, like, I love what Lisa said. When somebody logs in, could I tell who's a guest versus to a consultant? Could I tell that you are a Mary Kay consultant? If I just came in for the first time, could I pinpoint she's a consultant? She's a consultant. She's got to be a guest. She looks like a hot mess, but she's a consultant, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like that you're projecting your best face forward. You know, that's the goal, you know, whether you're teaching or an observer. Yeah.
That's a great question. That was a great question. Thank you, Lenora. Awesome. Who else?
Angelica has a question here. She recently bought the light ring. It has a lot of different color options and level of lighting. Any setting that you recommend for skincare makeup sessions? My biggest recommendation is trial. So you can even, if it's not on Zoom, you can get on a Facebook Messenger video call with your sister beauty consultant, with your sales director, because the same thing mine has, I'll show you, like mine doesn't have different color settings. I do have a different ring light that has that, but this is obviously no ring light because I'm in the dark in my house, but just the first setting, which is decent, depending on how close I am to the video camera too, right? This is pretty like good at any range. Now, if I do the highest, like it might be a little bit crazy. Like you now might not be able to see half of my face because it might just be getting like a massive reflection. So my biggest guidance would be to try them on camera live with somebody who will give you honest feedback.
Yes. Great point. Absolutely. And I do use the warm setting a lot because I have the same light as you, Angie. And I use the warm setting a lot because I like to look like I have a tan. But the white light tends to be a little bit better, more pure. Did you see my tan went away in 2 seconds?
That one. Oh,
I love it.
that's awesome. I think for me, I would say that spending time on your lighting and your level is really important. You know, creating a space you can say this. Like I know my setup. I'm like, I'm gonna get on. I just find that little crate. I put it there. It's like it's ready to go. You know, finding that, making the time to find a little space where you could do that. Having if you can have a place where you consistently do the things, so you don't have to recreate.
It doesn't have to be expensive, right? Like, so like Christine found something around her house. Like Lisa suggested a cake stand. You know, you can get even one of your product boxes and wrap it and put your, you know, your computer on top of that. I mean, my husband makes fun of me, but my stand is basically a wrapped Mary Kay box. I mean, you know, or sometimes I use my kid's bathroom stool because it's like the perfect height. So I steal his bathroom stool. So just really finding things that work. I mean, there's absolutely tools out there, you know, but I would say start with the things that you have around your house. The ring light is definitely a great investment and they're not expensive. And it makes a big difference, especially when you're teaching about skincare and makeup so people can actually see you. So great. Awesome. All right. So we can take a couple more questions. We have a few more minutes.
Hi, ladies. So I'm new to Zoom, so I only do it for like my ladies group that we have, you know, our Christian group. But the situation is that whenever I am on camera, I think that I'm always looking to the side, or I see myself looking to the side. So could that be like what you girls are saying? Like, you know, I'm not, you know, my setting, I need to put my laptop higher, because I do catch myself that I'm not, like I look to the side. Or is it that I'm trying to look at myself? I don't know. Since I'm new to it, I don't know what
you might be looking at people too. Like I know for me, I'm looking at you talking and you're over here from me. So I'm looking at you. But when you're talking, try to talk like you can be, I'm listening to you and I'm seeing you here. So I'm looking here and then I'm not paying attention. But when I'm speaking out or sharing, then I want to look at the actual camera.
At the actual camera. Okay.
Do you have a laptop, Wendy?
Yes.
Okay, lift your laptop up a little bit just so you can see. And like start tilting it towards you. You'll start seeing a difference in just how you look.
Yes.
Look at the difference.
Oh yeah, wow.
It's a big difference. I mean, now I don't have my whole setup, but you know, it makes a big difference for you in how even you see yourself.
Right. So, yeah, most definitely. Wow.
None of us want
for the rest of the meeting today.
You're gonna find actually for many women, they're like, oh, fixing my angle, I look thinner.
Oh.
And I look younger. Angle is everything, people. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely, good question.
Great question.
Time for one more, I think. Anybody else?
One more question.
Katrina, you had a question, Katrina? No, I thought you raised your hand. Yeah.
So I have a question, comment actually. This is Annalisa.
Hey, Annalisa.
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
So, I just wanted to make a comment as far as a suggestion. And one of the things that have been very helpful for me, not so much Zoom, but my pop-up shops and just communicating with my customers via text or leaving them messages on the phone if I can't make direct contact with them, is really the energy, the passion that you have for your business, and just that genuineness to serve. And I can't tell you, and I've expressed it with Christine, in the past 2 years, I've been able to build so many relationships with strangers, you know. And when I first started my business, my natural instinct was all my family and friends are going to support me, and, you know, I'm going to rock and roll. And I've had the opposite, where my best customers have actually been strangers, people that I've met through parties, through that first line of customers, if you will. And I've almost become, I feel like, a therapist for a lot of them, which has been really, really nice, because having people feel that comfort level with you to be able to open up to you personally outside of what we do as a business has been very touching and moving for me and motivating. And I think that Mary Kay products are just the tool to build those relationships and to provide that service to people, you know, and it's through the lipstick that you're selling or the cleanser, but you're doing more than that. You're building relationships. You're making people feel good about themselves. You're allowing them to open up in ways that maybe they wouldn't normally do to their family. So for me, it's been that building of relationships that has been so rewarding for me. Not like, and Christine said it the other night, it's not the sales, it's not putting money in your pocket. That's a bonus. It's the relationships that you make and the impacts that you make on people's lives. And I've seen it in the 2 pop-up shops that I've done, just having that interaction and setting it up and it leading itself, because your customers are there supporting each other, encouraging each other, making comments. And it was like amazing to see how it exploded on its own without even me having to lead it. It just kind of fell into place. And, you know, I did very well on both of them. And it was just exciting to see the responses afterwards from people saying thank you and texting me privately afterwards. That was so much fun. It was a true break. And I think more than ever now that we are in such difficult times and such times, that giving them that hour, 2 hours, 10 minutes, 30 minutes of a break is so powerful. And so I've been wanting to share that so much because of what it's done for me personally in my business and growing as a consultant. And so for you that are new, just remember that you're using the products as a tool to build relationships. And the more you build relationships, the more referrals you're going to get, because people are going to appreciate you for reaching out. How are you? Not just, hey, do you want to buy a lipstick? How's your family? How is everything? Following up when you know they shared something personal with you, that in 2 weeks down the road, you can go and follow up and say, how's it going? How's your family? And then they entrust in you and they will reach out to you because they're going to remember that you genuinely care for them. So just a little feedback.
Looking like a
That
queen.
was a perfect way to end.
And Elisa was our queen this week. She had over 1,200 hours of pop-up shops. Amazing. If you knew her when she first started, she would have never known what she would have built through this business, and the loyalty she has from her customer base, all from that heart to serve. And it's amazing. I always saw her like, it's amazing without like being like, oh, I need to be the queen and all that. Like she's built through relationships. Mary Kay always said, this is a people business. This is not a makeup business. It happens to be what we sell, but it's a people business, relationship business. So I love that from Lisa. So well said, and just a great refocus. We're about adding value to others, about the people, and the sales will come because our products are great and they'll trust you and they love you and they'll follow up. So beautifully said. Thank you, Annalisa.
Thank you, ladies.
All right, girls, so beautiful. Well, I think we have come up to our time. It was a perfect way to end. Thank you, Lisa, for our closure. That was a perfect way to conclude our event. It was beautiful. And starting next week, you guys, we're going to start our new virtual, tips and tools, continuing the season that we're in with our new directors joining us live as they have already. We introduced them to you today. So we're super excited to see you there and bringing your best face forward. I'd love to see how you guys adjust your angles, get your lighting. I want to see this transformation that's going to build your confidence. I really believe it builds your confidence when you look your best, put your best face forward, you feel confident. So play with it over the week and get yourself in place, get some boxes, stack up your laptop or whatever you're using. And always a laptop is ideally the best compared to a phone, by the way, just so you know, because you're going to get a better angle and everything, but use what you got and see what you can make work. And so we're proud of you guys and thank you all for their trainers. So awesome, girls. We're gonna have an awesome night. So we'll see you next Tips and Tools.
All
Okay,
right.
so finish.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Have a great night.
Bye. Have a great night.
Thank you,
Nice meeting
Jen.
Good night.
Thank you, Jen. If you're
Thank you. I was acting, guys. Just know, okay? I was a bad example. This is not what to do.
Good job, Mom.